Hey everybody, have you ever wondered why Shopify doesn't handle professional invoicing out of the box? Well, I've discovered something that's going to change how you think about your store's invoicing process. Now, running a Shopify store is challenging enough without having to worry about creating professional, compliant invoices for every sale. And that's where Sufio comes in. They're the trusted invoicing solution that's already powering over 6,000 Shopify stores worldwide. And what I love about Sufio is how it completely automates the invoicing workflow. So whether you're B2C or B2B, it automatically generates and sends professional invoices, credit notes, and other essential documents. No more manual work or worrying about tax compliance. Their system has been validated by certified accountants to meet regulations around the world. Now, here's what makes Sufio very special. They're officially recommended by Shopify B2B invoicing. That's a huge vote of confidence in my books. Their templates are professionally designed and are super easy to customize with your own branding. You get automatic tax calculations and compliance for both domestic and international sales. And here's the best part, their in-house support team actually helps you set everything all up. We're talking holding hands right from the beginning. So I've arranged something special for my listeners. If you visit sufio.com, that's sufio.com/fastlane, and you can get exclusive 90-day free trial. That's a full 3 months to transform your invoicing process and see the difference for yourself. Now remember, that's sufio.com/fastlane. Sufio is the professional invoicing made simple for Shopify stores. Plain and simple. So go check them out.
You're listening to E-commerce Fastlane, the podcast show to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company, powered by Shopify. Listen to real conversations with partners and subject matter experts as they share proven practical strategies, platforms, and the best Shopify apps to help you accelerate your business. The time is now for you to improve efficiencies, grow revenue, profit, and lifetime customer loyalty. Please welcome your host, startup founder, and strategic advisor, Steve Hutt.
Well, hey everyone, welcome back to E-commerce Fastlane. I'm your host, and today I have a fantastic conversation lined up for you, and I'll tell you why. This person was on my show, believe it or not, episode 101 in August of 2020. And, here we are now, February 20th, 2025. And, like 300 and some episodes later, my guest, I call it a repeat now, but his name is Jake Cohen, and he heads Shopify's division of Klaviyo and as their VP. And what Jake's been doing, I'm going to say he's been crushing it at Klaviyo, but he really has. He's been there since 2016, and he's really played a huge role in the growth, this amazing growth story of Klaviyo. And now they serve maybe there's higher numbers since I've checked, but 157,000 brands worldwide are using Klaviyo. And if you're not familiar with Klaviyo, they've really come a long way from just starting off with email marketing roots. And now they have a go-to platform, customer data platform, engagement. They do SMS. It really is an incredible platform. I'd argue that maybe it's the default install for all businesses direct to consumer. And so it's quite interesting. I'm excited to have Jake back on the show today. There's some amazing announcement today that we want to talk about. But hello, Jake. Welcome to your encore recording.
Steve, quite an intro. I might need to bring you everywhere I go. And it was a pleasure to be back with you all these years later.
Yeah, it's lovely, eh? So there is some incredible news, but kind of before we jump into that news, there's some people that maybe don't know exactly who you are, and I'd love to hear a little bit of your story, maybe for a minute or two, about Klaviyo. I think you got there in the early days, there was 25 people or something, and then you made a bet on this company that was so small. Can you talk a little about that journey and kind of where you're at today?
Yeah, I'd love to share. It actually begins when I was one, believe it or not. When my mother started an advertising agency in our basement, and my father worked for her, and it's where I got a taste of entrepreneurialism, but more importantly, the marketing and advertising world and serving other businesses to help them grow through effective marketing. And flash forward years later, I had gotten the startup bug, and unfortunately, some of the startups that I had worked on leading up to Klaviyo didn't work out the way that Klaviyo did. And I'd learned a little bit about the type of attributes that I was looking for. And I'd become very obsessed with a very high quality product that was very easy to try, set up, and see success. And ironically, I was supposed to lead product for a different company. And one of their investors said, you're great, but this isn't quite the right fit. You should talk to these guys at Klaviyo. I think you might get along. And so I walked in, sat down with Ed and Andrew. A 30-minute conversation turned into a 2-hour conversation. I played with the product and I could see immediately how powerful it was. And I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to join and contribute for coming up on almost 10 years now.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that. A lot of impact. What an incredible company to work for. And, the nice thing I find about Klaviyo is that they always are iterating and they're always listening to their customers and they're always wanting to improve the platform. At the end of the day, it really is about the merchant. It's about what can the merchant do to execute and to, then acquire these customers and nurture them over this lifetime value. And it's so interesting how we have all these different options. And so today, I kind of want to talk about the big reason why we're here today. In my opinion, and what's great about this launch today is that I feel that a lot of Shopify merchants they're a little bit drowning a bit. I don't want to use the word duct tape, but there's a lot of disconnected tools and things that are going on with data. And I think that's the part where I believe Klaviyo is actually filling that need quite nicely. And so I'm going to open the floor up to you to kind of talk about what's been officially launched today.
I'm very excited to share this. One of the things, going back to our last question for a moment, that got me so excited about Klaviyo when I saw it the first time was that when you looked at the initial experience of getting set up, in particular with Shopify to start, it was a single click to get all your data from Shopify into Klaviyo. And all of that data was immediately usable to configure whatever type of customer-facing experience you dreamed of. And even better, once you did that, you could see the impact of that experience in terms of actual revenue back to your business. And so forever, we've been focused on making it very, very easy for you to build richer relationships with your customers and understand how those relationships affect your business. If you take a step back and go back to 10 or 15 years ago and think about all these merchants that you were alluding to, Steve, specifically in the Shopify system, but not only, there weren't really tools that helped you if you were an up-and-coming merchant. And Shopify started in 2006. And before that, you had to either have a custom website built or have a hosted Magento instance just to be able to sell something online. And Shopify obviously brought this incredible solution that this might sound a little familiar, but made it very easy to sort of get started with hosting. Very easy to build a beautiful, simple website, very easy to start accepting transactions, and very easy to see how your business is growing. And so they solved that problem for selling it online. When Klaviyo started, we started by being able to solve that problem for marketing online, specifically email marketing, which is a very powerful way to connect people who had visited your store and invite them to come back and buy something they might be interested in. Shopify moved beyond just the storefront because their merchants were asking for more. They added payments, they added tax help, they added international support, they added help with acquiring new customers, and all the things that we've grown to love about that company, incredible company today. And our customers have been asking us for a lot more too. As you alluded to, over the years, there have been more and more tools that have come up to solve specific pointed problems. But those tools don't really talk to each other very well. And so what we've been hearing from merchants is, I have a lot of customers, Klaviyo, you have a lot of our data, but I, as a merchant, find it very difficult to provide the experiences that my customers are expecting of me, from when they come to a website, to when they want to learn more about the products I have, to when they have a problem and they want my help solving it. And so we have spent a lot of energy taking what we had going for us, which is a great foundational data platform and a really strong revenue-driving email experience, and expanding it to solve bigger problems and more problems on behalf of all the customers that use us today. So we've evolved our platform to bring 3 big things together, to bring marketing, to bring analytics, and to bring customer service into one platform. And today, we're excited to announce that we are now the world's only CRM built for B2C businesses, offering those 3 big sets of tools to help you build deeper relationships with your customers.
Yeah, this is incredible. That's why I feel so blessed that I have the opportunity to be able to share this opportunity today, G, because I can see as I alluded at the top, I just love the fact that Klaviyo does listen to their customers and understands that there's an evolution happening here. There is a unfortunate disjointedness with different tools and things. And a lot of times when I think about the word CRM, you always think of Salesforce. And when I think of Salesforce, I always think of B2B opportunities. I don't really think about the B2C side. And I think that's where you fit into the market. We're talking about that you're now taking care of the marketing, the analytics, and the customer service or customer care part of an organization, all with a single data platform. That's a very interesting use case that nobody has solved other than you guys today.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah,
it's
and
huge.
Funny you mentioned a B2B CRM as the sort of conventional solution that's out there. It's interesting. I started at Klaviyo by leading product, and so I'm particularly passionate about data, and I'm particularly passionate about using data. And one of the things that was very interesting to observe in the sort of ecosystem is a lot of platforms have used CRMs that were built for B2B because they kind of were the only way to be able to solve multiple problems in one place. But we heard a pretty consistent frustration with those tools, which was that when you had an idea, oftentimes the data that you needed to express that idea or take advantage of that idea wasn't there. And it was difficult to get it in, and it made it difficult for you to take your idea and bring it to life. Super common example. Let's say you are a pet store and you want to start collecting the names of your customers' pets and the birthdays of those pets so that you could start sending birthday communication and invite those customers to buy something on behalf of their best friends. And in order to do that, if that data didn't already exist in the platform, you would have to effectively change the underlying schema, a word no one wants to say, and then change the integration and then change code to design your email. And all of a sudden, 6 months later, if you were that resilient, this sort of simple activity could finally go out. And the reason for that is because B2B CRMs were built for B2B use cases, where a person is selling to a company and a couple of people at that company in a human-driven interaction, right? A human-driven sales process. But B2C is different. In B2C, you have not, hundreds or even potentially thousands of customers. You have, hopefully, over time, millions of customers. And you don't have 9 months to be able to offer them something to buy. You have seconds. And you don't need to know, where they are and what type of vertical they're in. You need to know who they are and where they are and what they care about and the type of dog that they have, or whether or not they're working on home construction, or whatever it is your business offers. What about your customers matter so that you can deliver personalized, meaningful communications to them? And so the platform that B2B CRMs were built on does just simply not serve the needs of the B2C business, of businesses that sell to consumers. And a little bit by accident, because of the way we approached how we built our data platform, we built that. And what we realized is by building that and offering it through email, we can take that same data platform and very quickly add more ways to use it, as you alluded to, Steve, starting with email, going into SMS, going into attribution and analytics, adding reviews, and now adding even more robust analytics packages, even more channels in marketing, and now a full customer service experience as well.
Yeah. I'd argue it's probably more of a profit center now, because now it kind of it closes the loop, so to speak, where before I'd argue there's a lot of brands that are probably using some sort of CRM of some sort. They're, not just using Google Suite. They likely have something connected, and maybe there is some connection with the product record. But a lot of the CRMs that are out there, I know for a fact, don't integrate with the marketing side of the business. Because think about it, if someone was to come now that is running on Klaviyo's CRM solution, now they're able to interact with that customer and see the full full order history, and then they can think about things like, okay, do they have a returning queue right now? That's interesting. Or is there something going on in their overall in their life cycle, or are they VIP or not? And imagine like kind of the ability now of truly understanding the marketing initiatives by customer record, and then being able to, and agents using the tool now are able to make educated decisions about, well, what can they offer now? How can they assist this customer? Or I think before it was a little bit disjointed because you never really knew what the other kind of silos, what was going on over there. And now through Klaviyo's kind of data platform and now integrated with the CRM, I think it really does close that loop.
You're tapping into something that, frankly, I feel bad for merchants about, and I frankly get frustrated about. I mean, think about it. If you're starting a business, how hard is it to start a business? You've done it. I've done it.
Yep. Uh-huh.
It's almost impossible. You have to forego your friends, forego your family, forego your sleep to pursue this almost impossible ambition of bringing your vision to life. And God forbid it starts to work and you need help, tools to be able to connect with your customers in the ways that they need. There are so many different solutions out there that you have to suddenly become a newfound self-studied expert in technology purchasing just to be able to help all the customers that you've been so fastidious in serving and earning. And it's a bummer because, what you really want to be doing is thinking about new products and configuring great experiences and delivering what you can, instead of looking through feature checklists and whatever, all this stuff. And so, yeah, I hear that frustration. I've talked to many, many, many business owners, merchants, and they get frustrated because they say, listen, I asked my friends what I should use. One's using this, one's using that. I try it. It solves the specific problem. For example, if someone writes in and, has a complaint, this is a ticketing system, so it works fine. But as you alluded to, I can't see what they were looking at on the website in that system, or I can't see what they just bought, or I can't see that they returned something before. So I know that they already are maybe not as happy with us as they could be. And it's a bummer. And so I'm obviously very passionate about this and very biased towards giving the best possible experience to merchants out there. But what should exist is exactly what you alluded to, that when I'm talking to someone who's written into me, I know everything that they've purchased or returned. I know the last time they were on my website, how frequently they engage with my marketing communication, and what types of products they're interested in. When I'm reaching out to someone proactively to share with them a new product that I might have, I should know what they've bought before. I should know the channel that they prefer. I should know who they are, so I share images of that product and use cases or values that speak to the things that they care about. And it shouldn't be so difficult to do that. It should be intuitive and it should be simple. And this, again, is why we built this CRM, so that businesses can go to one place and do as much or as little as they need or want without having to become an expert in finding something that will simply help them do what they want to do, which is serve the customers that they worked so hard to earn.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm going to be devil's advocate just for 1 second, because I think there are going to be some brands that say, hey, I get Klaviyo. Like they're, I joke with the default install, but they clearly have done a lot of things extremely well with like the 157,000 some customers, massively growing unicorn company. Like there's a lot of things going on that are great. But some people, like I said, have an existing CRM that, or ticketing system that's maybe not as robust. But what do you say to those founders or those marketers that's saying, hey, I'm a little bit nervous about change? What would the process look like? Because clearly you've onboarded people into this solution where they've had other legacy solutions or other competing solutions that are more siloed, and they've made that transition over to Klaviyo now to be a full encompassing solution. Can you walk us through? Because I think a lot of marketers are going to have that initial aggravation. When is the go live date when someone presses a button and say, okay, well, all of a sudden, instantly, all the emails now for support are now coming through Klaviyo now. Can you walk us through that whole process of what might happen?
Yeah. First, I want to sort of take a step back here. A CRM is a platform that unifies all your data from any source you want into a single unified profile and builds tools on top of that system to allow you to understand your customers and contacts, communicate with them, and help them when they need help. And so for us, what that means is we have over 350 pre-built integrations that you can simply click and install, and data starts flowing in immediately, Shopify being obviously one of those. Our analytics tooling both allows you to investigate questions that you have, but we also have out-of-the-box pre-composed reporting, both about who your best customers are, loyal, likely to be loyal, and likely to churn, but also predictive. How much are people likely to spend based off of what others in your ecosystem have done and the sort of interactions that you've had with them. On the marketing side, which people have known us for email, we've added in more channels so that you can, for example, something I'm very excited about that's available now this year is the ability to orchestrate campaigns across multiple channels from a single screen. So what you can do now is you can say, I want to send a message not by channel, but by theme or topic, for example, a new product launch. And I can say that I want to communicate with customers who prefer email via email, those who prefer SMS via SMS, those who prefer push notification to my app via push, and those who prefer WhatsApp because they're in a different country by WhatsApp, or whatever you want. And organize and orchestrate that all in one place very, very simply. But perhaps the biggest innovation that I think is even more important is what we're doing in the service space. And I bring this up because I don't want people to believe that what Klaviyo is today is yet another ticketing service, because we believe that what your customers want is something different. The way that customers buy has changed. They no longer pick up the phone to order from a catalog. They go to websites, they do their research, they read forums, and then they come and they purchase. And I think that the way that consumers want service has changed too. They now know that they want to go to a site and when they want, it might be in the middle of the night in bed when they're getting ready to go to sleep, and they want to be able to serve themselves and do the things that they need to do to solve the problem without entering chat queues, picking up the phone, or whatever else. And if they can't solve it for some reason, which hopefully is a minority of cases, then they want to be able to very quickly access a person who can help them solve that problem. And so we've actually built a great new product called the Customer Hub that does exactly this. The way it works is, imagine a consumer comes to your website and you have your little account icon. You can click on that and a panel will open up from the side. And that panel will show the consumer, your customer, everything that represents that person's relationship with your brand. So at the top, it might show their recent orders. It might show their reviews. It'll give them the ability to start a return if they want, connecting into the existing return system that you use. It might give them some personalized recommendations based on their previous purchases. It might give them some recommended products that are new that you recently brought to market. And it might give them also the opportunity to engage in a chat if they want. They don't have to hunt through different pages or enter in their order number to a dedicated screen with their last name just to be able to begin a return process. Everything is tight, it's simple, it's consolidated, it's self-service, and it's on demand. And this is the only place that Shopify merchants can provide this experience out of the box. And so far, it's been amazing. It's as fast to install as Klaviyo, as what brought me to Klaviyo in the first place. One click to go. It's one click to activate. Customers love it. And probably the best thing about it is it reduces ticket volume, but it also drives transactions because consumers now can see other things that are recommended for them personally. So they come in with a problem and they walk away with a smile because of what they've been able to accomplish.
So this is like so if I'm clear here, is that it's like a single source of truth, like a kind of a unified kind of customer profile, but it's available now through this customer hub. And then there can be actions that can happen. Self-serve actions can happen now thanks to Klaviyo.
That's exactly right. What's special about Klaviyo is that we are able to create a very rich, unified profile of every person that is a customer or contact of yours. And the Customer Hub is a microcosm of all of that data that's relevant to me as a consumer to help me understand my historical relationship and engagement with the brand that I love and to give me the tools to help myself.
Oh, this is amazing. So is this part of what's called Klaviyo Service? Is that kind of what the offering, as I just kind of did a tiny bit of research before recording, I just want to make sure I'm getting the right name of the product.
Yeah, so it's this specific product is called the Customer Hub.
Okay.
And it's under the umbrella of service that is in conjunction with marketing and analytics that make up the B2C CRM that we're launching today.
Ah, okay. All right. Now makes it much more clear for me. Okay. So I guess early days now, because this is just officially launched, likely we're quite a few beta testers that kind of got it to where we're at today. Is there any kind of, without maybe giving away who the brand is, but is there any kind of notable case study or a story? I always like getting warm and fuzzy hearing about, hey, here's what their life was before the Klaviyo data platform and the CRM, and now here's their life today because they're using the solution. Do you have anything, even anecdotally, that you can talk about?
I have two, if you'll indulge me. The first I'll share is a current customer using our marketing tools that added Customer Hub. And the second is a customer or a business that was not using anything and came to use the full CRM suite. And my God, the impact on the business is incredible. So the first one is a apparel business, upscale apparel business, really nice stuff. I'm a customer myself. And they have been using our marketing tools and our analytics tools, and they recently added the Customer Hub. And the problem that they were trying to solve was to more quickly give their customers information because they wanted to reduce their ticket volume of the emails and the chats that were coming in. And so they use the Customer Hub, they set it up. And as I mentioned, on that panel that opens, it shows consumers what they've purchased, the ability to create a return, recommended products, and then the ability to chat. And what I heard when I spoke with the founder of that business is, one, he was very surprised at how quick it was to implement. He literally clicked to activate, did a couple customizations on the view based on what he wanted to show, and it was live. What was also surprising to him was the unintended positive impacts that it had on his business. Specifically, number one, the presence of this panel prompted more consumers to create accounts with his brand. And as a result of that, he had more email addresses. He had more opportunity to offer. He has a subscription service that they added to offer that subscription service. And he had more data on those people. The other thing it did, which he did not expect, is it actually drove incremental sales. Because when people came to this panel, they had a recommended product module in it. And so people came, some of them were just trying to see what it was, what it did. Others were literally trying to make a return. But instead of simply making the return and moving on, which is what happens when you go to a dedicated returns portal, it said, you might not like that, but you'll probably like this. And it turned into a sales opportunity for him. And so his average order value increased as a result of having this, and his total incremental transactions increased as a result of having this, which is exactly what I think consumers want, and of course, what merchants want.
Yeah, that's lovely. And then how about your second? And how about your second?
The second one, yes. So the second one was a food business that was a sort of subscription business.
Okay.
And they had a set of tools that were half off the shelf and half homegrown. And they were a little bit bigger. And over the years, they had a big team that had worked on all these different tools and put them together. And the challenge that they had was their competitors were moving very quickly, and they found themselves not being able to react and move as quickly as they had hoped as a team. And so they did a sort of full study on everything that was out there and concluded that the unified customer platform that Klaviyo offers, plus the embedded tools that construct this whole CRM experience, was going to be right for them. So they got rid of 4 different tools that they had off the shelf. They also sunset a handful of existing bespoke tools that they had built. They had a couple of external consulting groups that they paid for development resources that they were able to break those contracts for and save some money. They moved all of the experiences that they had onto Klaviyo within a month. And the cycle times for their teams went from quarters to days, meaning the amount of time it took to go from, I have a great idea of a customer experience I can put out there, and having planning meetings and prioritization discussions and roadmaps and waiting for delivery and coordinating groups, all went away and made it that they could go from idea to execution in a couple of days at most, only because they're big. And the last thing that ended up happening was, because they were able to let go of some of the relationships with those external groups, their cost to operate went down. So their profit margin increased, they moved more quickly, and as a result, they were able to grow revenue too. So it's like a dream. They they were thrilled and we were thrilled. It's why we started this company. It's why we get out of bed every morning, to increase the likelihood that our customers can improve the experiences that they offer and turn their business into the dream that got them to start it in the first place.
Yeah, this is amazing. I know as you were speaking, I went to the Klaviyo.com resources area and then went to case studies, and ironically enough, a lot of the case studies were former brands that I kind of initial days turned on to Klaviyo, and now they've turned into some really great case studies like Pretty Litter and Headley and Bennett, and there's quite a few others in here. It's like, hey, I used to manage these accounts, and these are like fantastic, and here they are continuing to heads down and iterate, and using the platform, and this is really it's exciting. It's really cool that all this is now available. It's 100% go to market as of today, and that's kind of why I have you on the show. I think what do you think some of our next steps should be for those that are listening that say, hey, you know what, like maybe they love Klaviyo and they're currently using email, but they haven't thought about the other parts that are available as part of that. What do you suggest kind of are the next steps? I guess there's two different trains of thought here. There's people that are current Klaviyo customers, and what's that flow look like to try out Customer Hub and get involved with the Klaviyo CRM? And then there's those that are maybe net new customers to Klaviyo. So let's talk about those two different cohorts.
Well, Steve, you mentioned a few brands that you had worked with in the past that started of a certain size and now are a little bit bigger.
Oh yeah,
and,
a little bit bigger.
For us, honestly, and I was talking to a colleague last night about this, we're very emotionally attached to our customers and to what we do. We care that they succeed. And so what you alluded to is exactly why we're excited to announce this B2C CRM, but to continue to build more products, more features, more value that our customers can take advantage of to help them grow their businesses. Last year, the 157,000 businesses that you alluded to on Klaviyo generated $70 billion of revenue through Klaviyo's platform for themselves. They used our tools to help themselves, which is the dream. And we aspire to help every business that gets started, the backbone of the economy, entrepreneurs, to take their vision and have the tools in a simplified, less expensive, more powerful, and more impactful platform, this B2C CRM that is Klaviyo, so that they can grow. So to answer your question, if there are businesses out there that want to grow and to grow more easily, then they should absolutely check out Klaviyo and give it a try. The cool thing about Klaviyo is that it can be as much or as little as you need. While we have this robust platform that is this B2C CRM, by no means do you have to use everything that's there. You can start with something simple. Sometimes people come just for SMS or just for email. I'm sure we'll have customers that are going to be coming just for the Customer Hub. It's a very powerful solution that does not exist anywhere else in the market. People are welcome to come try. There's a free trial. You can go to Klaviyo.com. You can sign up. You can integrate Shopify with a single click. You're off to the races, and you don't have to pay right away until you see value. Or if you do have a set of tools, maybe Steve, like you alluded to, you've got, we heard recently the average number of tools that an e-commerce brand has is 14, which is bananas.
Yeah.
There's more fingers than any of us have. So if you'd like to maybe have fewer of those tools or have those tools communicate more readily and more consistently, then I highly encourage you to come check out Klaviyo. Obviously, you can try it on your own. You can get some of those integrations out of the box done. If you want to speak to someone that can help give you guidance and expertise on how it might help your specific business, you can sign up for a conversation. But whatever it is, whoever you are, if your aspiration is to grow by having better experiences for your customers, we would love the privilege and the opportunity to serve you. So we encourage you to come check it out, see if it's right, and maybe you join the other customers we have and turn that 70 billion of revenue generated to 700, which is what we'd like to do.
This is lovely. All right, Jake, this has been great. It's funny, I'm just reading something. I was just chuckling here a bit because Ellen Bennett from Headley and Bennett, one of her comments, and it's just kind of like full circle today, but it's just like, if I could do it again, I would have started earlier with Klaviyo. And I think that's a really interesting takeaway, because it's just like, no matter where you are in your customer journey or your complexity, there's opportunity here, like you said, to grow your business. There is the tools and the process available now. And, you can serve the enterprise people all the way to early stage startup people. And I love how you framed it, that, you can slice off certain pieces of the Klaviyo platform and use it as needed. And I use the analogy of like kind of the crawl, walk, run kind of scenario, but that's kind of where we're at today. Maybe it just turns out that email is a really good starting point for you. Fantastic. You get going on that. Oh, Customer Hub might be a great opportunity too. Let's try that out and see if we can get some more net new customers and email addresses and a little more the self-serve option. Then it moves on to really start utilizing the full power of the B2C CRM, which was kind of the big launch today. So this has been really exciting. Any kind of final takeaways for those that are listening?
The best part of what you just described is all of those additional tools, only if you want them, are a single click away. No long demo processes, no additional calls, no separate accounts, no additional integrations, like none of that. If you want more, you can use it. And if you don't, you don't have to. So we're trying to make it as simple as possible for all the businesses out there to do exactly what they set out to do in the first place. Earn more customers, serve them with the amazing products that you've dreamed of, keep them for a long time, and turn your vision into reality, the booming business that you started in the first place.
Yeah, this is lovely. I'll have all of these links in the show notes. And once again, Jake, thanks, number one, for coming on the show again. We have to make sure it's more of an annual event than like every 3 years. It's like, I don't know, or every 4 years. But this is really lovely. Congratulations on, clearly the hard work of the team to get this B2C CRM up and running, live, and just, the next iteration of Klaviyo. I think this is fantastic, and I wish you continued success.
Thank you for having us. It was great to be back, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, sounds good. All right, have a great afternoon. Well, that's it for today's episode. I'd like to thank you personally for being a loyal listener of E-commerce Fastlane. It's my hope that this podcast is offering you a ton of value through growth strategies, tactics, and exclusive insider tips on the best Shopify apps and marketing platforms, all with my personal goal to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company powered by Shopify. Thanks for investing some time today and listening to the show. I'm so proud and excited that you have a growth mindset and are a constant learner. I truly appreciate you and your entrepreneurial journey. Enjoy the rest of the week and keep thriving with Shopify.